Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? Thanks so much for joining me in today's video. We're going to be talking all about newest Mothership palette, Huetopian. So I am going to be creating 2 makeup looks. We're going to do swatches, lots of comparisons within Pat's line, and I'll let you know if I feel like you really need this one or you can just skip. If this is your first time here, I'm Gigi. I am a registered nurse obsessed with skincare, beauty, and makeup. Here on my channel, I do a lot of unboxing, I do reviews, first impressions, all that good stuff. So if that's something that you enjoy, go ahead and click on the red button that says subscribe, and also come to my Instagram because over there I do keep you posted on new sales, makeup releases, everything like that. So let's just go ahead and get started. Alright friends, so as mentioned, newest Huetopian palette by Pat McGrath. I got this palette when it first released. If you're new here, I am from Canada, so I did purchase it from Canada. I paid expedited shipping and I got it 10 or 11 days. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, after I purchased the palette. So it was actually really quick. Checkout was fine, no complications. I purchased mine as a bundle. She usually get, different bundles when she releases a palette. So I was able to get her Ethnicity pen, one, and the palette together. This was like $10 extra for these two. And then I paid expedited shipping, as I mentioned, to get it here to Canada. So here we are. So this is Pat McGrath's 9th Mothership palette. As I mentioned, it's called Huetopian. This is already available at Sephora if you're able to get your hands on it. It's actually sold out right now at Sephora Canada, but I'll leave links in my description box if you're interested. This retails for 170 Canadian dollars, but at Sephora they don't have the bundle. So if you did want to get a bundle with the pen, you're better off at her site. As I said, checkout was actually a breeze. I didn't have any trouble. Everything came pretty quickly. So those were my experience this time around with her site. She's describing this palette as a dream of 10 blendable high-performance shadows in 5 futuristic finish designed for infinite artistry. It is formulated in velvety mattes, stellar shimmers, and mesmerizing metallics, including 2 altering duochrome and in and out of this world triochrome. Luxuriate in ecstasy as you make contact with the next dimension of beauty. So let's jump into the tutorial portion application of this video. I didn't get to talk in this video. I really wanted to just focus on the palette, really enjoy it, and make sure that I was, mixing as many colors as I could to bring you my, first impressions on the palette. I know there's so many reviews, very in-depth reviews, so I thought, you know what, let's just do it a little bit differently. So again, I didn't talk in this portion. I'm gonna show you that, and then I'll come back and break down the palette shadow by shadow, and then comparisons and final thoughts. So let's just go ahead and do that. Alright friends, so you were able to see the two looks that I created. Yes, a very shiny, very sparkly, very you know, glamorous. This is a palette to use for special occasions. I don't see myself ever reaching for this if I'm not, you know, going to a special event. The glitter in here is just so fine, it's just so beautiful. The Triochrome shade here that I used in my first look, I thought it was pretty. Let's actually, you know, break down the palette shadow by shadow. So the first one is this one right here, which is a matte. Her mattes are usually very, very pigmented. So as you can see, her mattes are very, very pigmented. This was a one swatch kind of thing. If you're fair complexion, you want to be really light-handed, this is the darkest shade that we get in the palette to deepen out any look. And I think this is an appropriate color. It looks like a brown, but it's truly a deep purple plum color that it could actually deepen every, you know, any look out. This was the shade that I used over here. It could get a little patchy if you use too much, so go slowly, you know, just apply little by little and then you'll be good to go. Then we get the shadow here, which is very common in her palettes, in her Mothership palettes, is a beautiful soft metallic, you know, shade. These I applied in my inner corner, you know, no issues, it just lighted beautiful. And that's also the highlighter that I applied at the end of my demo, which I thought it was pretty. I love that these Mothership palettes could be used, you know, as a blush, as a highlighter if you wanted to. So this is also beautiful and soft. Next up, let's talk about this beautiful shimmer that I applied all over my lid in my second look. Look at that. It's one of those very, very shimmery shades. It has a lot of color payoff, so it's not gonna be your only sparkle. It has actually color to it, so it is a beautiful pink. If you're into pinks, this is a stunning shade. I was very shocked when I applied it because it was just a very opaque and pigmented. So this was a beautiful pink. Then the next one is this one, the matte color that I applied all over my crease for the first look. This is very soft, very subtle. Like all the mattes here are very rosy, so you can see you get a plum and you get a rosy shade, and that's all you're gonna get in this palette. You don't get any true browns, you know, to like blend or whatnot. This was also beautiful, no complaints, no issues. I felt like I was able to really deepen out this color. I applied very light-handed, and I was, you know, I switched my brushes back and forth to get more pigmentation as I wanted it to, and I'm very happy with how soft that color was for my outer corner, so no complaints there as well. Then we have this coral shade, which is a very, very bright, the other matte in her palette. I applied this all over my lid on this eye, and it was pretty. No complaints. It looks very neon because it is. As you said, as a blush in, you know, at the end of my demo, and I feel like this color, you could be very heavy-handed and end up with clown cheeks, so you want to apply just a little bit at a time, but nonetheless beautiful. Look at that pigmentation. Again, it was a beautiful coral shade. Then we have this one right here, which is very soft to touch. I didn't get to use it, so I'm not gonna comment too much about it. Look at that bronzy yumminess right there. So very pigmented, very soft. I love these bronzy shades. This is like a one shadow and done kind of look, and I think it's also very, very pretty. Let me clean up my fingers. Next up, we have her Triochrome, and this is truly a Triochrome in her palette. Depending on how the light hits, it's gonna turn purple, it's gonna turn a little bit green. I was able to use this one all over my lid, and I really hope that the lighting will do it justice. Again, look at that. So you can see the top, it looks green, and as I move it, it looks a little bit purple. So depending on, again, how the light is hitting, that's the two colors or three colors that you're gonna be able to get. I use this all over my lid, but I wanted something, you know, I wanted something to pop a little bit more, so that's why I put the gold at top. But this is beautiful and soft. Look at this pigmentation, you guys. This is soft as they come. Then we have the gold shade here, and let's talk about this one because as I as I want to swatch it, is actually one of those really crumbly shades. They have to be really careful with them. This doesn't have a lot of payout, so it's not going to be an opaque shade. It's going to be more your topper, your glitter, you know what I mean? It doesn't have a ton of color to it. It's just a lot of shine and sparkle. I made sure to apply this gold shade because as I swatched it, I just realized that it's too crumbly. So I went ahead and applied my pen before I put it onto this eye, and this pen is amazing. I loved it, you guys. It's just, if you use hair shadows and you've used one of those formulas that are a little bit crumbly, then you will feel the difference. I don't even have to compare what it feels like without this because I truly could feel it. Like the shadow was just sticking very, very nicely to this pen, and it was just so neat to use. I just applied at top of the already shadow applied, and it was good to go. And the way that I knew how to apply and how to use this pen was from a live from her. I watched her. I chose doing artistry to another girl, and she showed how to use the pen. So I was so happy to get to see that you can apply this pen at top of even shimmer, glimmer, glitters, doesn't matter. Just apply that top and then you apply the pop of color and you're good to go. This is nice. My eye look is so clean, zero fallout because I use that pen. I can't get enough. Beautiful, beautiful one. I'm so happy that I got to try it. But yeah, keep that in mind. Crumbly shade, it makes a little bit of a mess. We have one of the stars of the show. You can see that change of color right there. It looks white, a little bit purple. Is that unicorn kind of shade. So this is what that shade looks like. Again, it doesn't have a ton of pigmentation to the shadow. It's more your sparkly shade, and I was able to use it, you know, in my lower lash line. I didn't use the pen to apply this shadow. I just went ahead and sprayed it with my Charlotte spray, and it is sticking really nicely. I didn't make a mess because I was able, you know, to wet my brush beforehand because I knew if I applied this, you know, it was gonna go everywhere. So I cannot wait to apply this shade all over my lid. I wanted to do it here, but then I went with the other shade to make it a little bit more soft since I already used this in my lower lash line. But I think that it looks so pretty, gives a lot of light, and it's just like a little pop of color, you know, to this eye look that I'm loving. And then last but not least, we have the other special shade, which is very, very glittery, very, very pigmented. This is also same story. It is more of a unicorn, not as purple as this one, but again, it doesn't have a ton of pigment underneath. It's just a lot of sparkle. If you want to use this shadow, you want to make sure to wet your brush beforehand or just use the pen, because then you're not gonna make a mess. Again, I have zero fallout. I was able to just tap it on, you know, on this eye look, and I think it looks so pretty and beautiful. It really catches a lot of attention to the eye in the most delicate way. I don't know, I'm just really happy with this palette. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Let's move on to some McGrath and the Mothership palettes that I own. I decided to start collecting her shadows, you know, later in the game, so that's why I don't have all of them, but I do have the two, you know, rosy palettes, which are the more comparable, you could say. So let's open this up and show you side by side. So let's start off with her Divine Rose. So again, these pretty much seem like it's like Divine Rose 1, 2, and 3, to be honest. They look like cousins, not necessarily sisters, especially this one. This is the nudist of them all, which I find, in my opinion, to be the most wearable, you know, from all the motherships. These, you're gonna, you know, achieve just very soft and beautiful looks. I really enjoy this palette because I am such a nude person. I am such a neutral lover. So let's just do side by side. This is what they look like side by side. You can totally see. Probably they could get away by being cousins, but not really. We could find, you know, a deep purpley shade in here, and here we get more browns and neutrals. So not really not same vibe, not, you know, not really. Next up we have Divine Rose 2, which is an extension of that one, but this is the colorful cousin. This is the really fun cousin. It has a lot of pinks, a lot of pop-up colors, but again, just you sticking to that pink. You get in here a lot of pinks, a lot of purples, a coral. So they are very similar, but they're not really the same. They're very similar, as you can see, but I feel like the new one has more toned down tones, and then you get those two special shades at the top here, right? Like that purple and that unicorn shade, which are beautiful. Here you also get a triochrome, which is this one right here. You can see that it goes purple, but it's also green. So this is the triochrome in that palette in the previous, and this is the triochrome in the new one. Divine Rose 2 triochrome leans a little bit more purple, you know, purple and green. The newest palette, triochrome, I feel like it's a little bit more bronzy, yeah, bronzy, pinky, and then green. So they are very similar. Probably, you know, in the lids you're not gonna be able to tell them apart. Point is, there isn't any dupe, you know, within this palette. They are different. To be honest, I prefer the newest over Divine Rose 2. So I prefer this one over this one. I felt like with this one, the looks I created were just, I don't know, were just too coral, too neon, too like vivid, but for some reason there is some beautiful tone downs, you know, toned down shades in here that just make this palette a little bit more my style anyways. I know it isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea because it is very colorful nonetheless. I have to admit, I am very happy, I am pleasantly surprised about this palette, and I feel like I am so happy because the shades just work. The shades just complement each other. The color story is really, really beautiful. There's something really beautiful about this palette. I wasn't going to get it, to be honest, you guys. When I saw the reveal of the shades, I was very underwhelmed. I was waiting for something like this. I was waiting for the rainbow. I was waiting for the pastels. I don't know, something about this just threw me towards that, you know, thinking. And then when she released, it's like, another pink palette, really. But then, and now that I have it, and now that I created these looks, I really feel like it's a beautiful palette. So I was very underwhelmed, you know, with the shades inside when she revealed them, but now that I have it, I love it. I feel like it's a beautiful palette. I also want to add that this pen is amazing if you are into her palettes and you use, you know, glittery shimmers, or just in general, if you really, really love glitter, I feel like you need to purchase this pen. You really need it. It made everything just so easy. As I mentioned, no fallout whatsoever with this pen. I feel like it is a beautiful thing to have. So easy, much better than a glitter glue, you know, because glitter glue could make a mess. This is just really, really amazing. Alright friends, and that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this palette? What do you think of the two eye looks that I created? Did you get to try this palette? Are you thinking about it? Are you just skipping? Any thoughts? Anything at all? Just drop it below. Thanks so much you guys for your love and support. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!